Hello everybody, welcome back to another alternate art tier list video. This is Evolving Skies, and I think this is going to be the biggest one as well because this involved a lot of sets from Japan. Eevee Heroes had a lot of arts as well, so let's get into it, shall we? Starting off with, apparently, Dragonite V. I'm going to straight away say something about this Dragonite V card. I don't understand what is happening here. So clearly the Dragonite's asleep or falling asleep or something, but I don't feel like a cloud would support the weight of a Dragonite V. It makes no sense. Logistically, it's very confusing, but it is a very nice looking card. I think it's a bit, maybe a plainer looking all art card. I think it's like a bit quieter, if that makes sense, of a Pokemon card. There are a lot of Pokemon in the background. There's Spearows and a Fearow in there, but I think this does a lot with not a lot, if that makes sense. It looks really good. It looks chill, and I really enjoy this card. I think it's going to be a Dragonite V A tier. Next up, Duraldon V. I don't know if character arts were a thing, or trainer gallery was a thing before Brilliant Stars and Astral Radiance, but this is an interesting one. I feel like that's what it should be. It should be a trainer gallery card. Duraldon V features Raihan in the background, which is cool. I guess the Rotom phone's there, maybe taking a photo or something. I'm not entirely sure what's going on. There's a lot going on. For me, this is an interesting card because while I quite enjoy the actual art style of the Pokemon and Raihan himself, the food, the curry, looks a bit like out of place for some reason. Like it doesn't make sense. It's like someone dragged a PNG from a different artist and placed it there. It kind of, for me, a little bit ruins like the rest of what's going on. It's a nice card, but like a little aspect like that has kind of thrown it off for me a little bit. So I'm going to pop Duraldon V in B tier. Next up, Duraldon V Max. Duraldon V Max, it's okay. The scene is set. Huge skyscraper Pokemon, kind of taking out some forest, which, you know, in an era of terrible deforestation isn't exactly the greatest thing going on. It also looks blurry. I like, again, I've said this before, I like the subject matter of the art, but I don't necessarily like the art direction. I'm quickly learning I should have took art or something in art analysis in college. I don't know. It's an alright looking card, but I don't think it's like one of my favourites. I think this is a solid C tier alt-art card. Next up, Esperon V. Esperon V is a really cool looking card. I enjoy the fact that it's, you know, using its psychic abilities to read books, which, you know, if I had psychic abilities, I'm sure I'd be learning more too. Instead, I stay pretty stupid most of the time. I enjoy the fact there's a Ditto on one of those, which for anyone who has seen the upcoming Pokemon Go set for Pokemon Trading Card Game, they're going to worry a little bit. Should I be peeling this card and finding the Ditto underneath? I don't think so. Again, I'm not a huge fan of the art style itself, but I really like the art subject matter. It looks really cool. It's a really nice looking card. It's pretty. I'm going to put it into B tier. Next up, Glacier V. There may be some bias creeping in here, but I have pulled this card twice, so I'm a big fan of it. It clearly wanted to find me. It's another card that the Pokemon itself kind of blends into the background just a little bit, but it's not as bad as some of the other cards that we've seen so far. I really enjoyed the fact that it's just a Glaceon chilling on a bench in a park, and it's the middle of winter. I think Glaceon's just happy to see some flowers sprouting up. It's like, yo, winter's nearly over. It's fine. I'm really chill with it. I'm hanging out in the park. I'm having a great time. Other than that, there's not too much going on. It's, you know, a perfectly chill card. Pardon the pun. I'm going to pop Glaceon into B tier. Next up, Glacier Vmax. The opposite of chill, this Glaceon is having a good time. I feel like it is the middle of spring or summer. These Pokemon were like, yo, I would enjoy some ice skating, if you wouldn't mind. And Glaceon was more than happy to go, yeah, not a problem, let's go. We got Pikachu, we got Pancham, we got Marill, we got Eevee, we got Azumarill, we've got Feebas in the background. There's a lot going on in this card, but I really enjoy it. It's a really nice card. I feel like it's got really cool vibes, and for me, this is a definite A tier card. Next up, Golurk V. Golurk V is a great card because it's helping out with the building of a log cabin. I'm a huge supporter of log cabins. I think they're fantastic. I am a little bit nervous that it is heading towards that rope bridge though, which, you know, Golurk is probably a heavy automation. It's probably not going to survive that, but it is also a ghost, so very confusing. We've got Swablu helping out or using it as a perch, I'm not sure. And Nicket's clearly there for a ride. It's a really nice card. Again, not too huge of a fan of the art style itself, but the art is cool. I like it. Go look, B tier. Next up, Leafeon V. Despite being a huge grass boy, not in the way you may think, Leafeon V, it's a nice card. I quite like it, but it's a bit... I'm not a big fan of, I don't think I'm a big fan of like watercolors and stuff like that. And the Leafeon, I don't know if it's just me, I feel like the head and face look a bit distorted compared to the rest of the Eevee. Its tail is a bit crumpled as well. I don't know, it's, you know, I wouldn't be upset if I pulled it, but it's not one of my favourite alt-art cards. I think the Leafeon looks a bit weird in this picture, so I'm going to give this one a C tier. And next is Leafeon V Max. I much prefer this card compared to the Leafeon V. It gives me vibes of a cat playing with a ball of yarn. It's just a giant Leafeon playing with a hay bale. What's not to love on that one? Again, not a huge fan of the art style itself. I'm a black outline kind of person. And the fact this has no like real outlining kind of upsets me a little bit. But it's a nice card. I'm going to put it into B tier. Next, Medicham V. This is a tough one because while it's an interesting art style, I really don't like Medicham. And the way this Medicham's presented is really horrible. Like, I don't like what's going on here at all. Which is upsetting because, again, I've said this about a couple of other cards. The art subject matter is really cool. I love the way it's presented. I hate the art style. And I hate the Pokemon, making this card really hard to like. It's going to have to be a D tier for me, I'm afraid. Next up is Neutron V. I am a huge fan of this Neutron V card because it looks like somebody saw Batman and went, how can we make a Pokemon look like it belongs in a Batman movie? This image and like the level of detail and stuff wouldn't even look like out of place in Detective Pikachu. Like, it looks really fantastic. It's very like almost photorealistic. I love the fact that it's playing off the Batman aesthetic as well. This is an S tier card. Next, Rayquaza V. This is another one that feels like it should be a character rare. Rayquaza V it's a cool looking card, but I feel like the main focus of it is like on the trainer. Is it Zinnia? The main focus is on Zinnia rather than Rayquaza itself. And it's kind of, I don't want to say it's hard to see what Rayquaza is in this image, but it's not the focus and it's kind of looking away from it a little bit. But the art style's nice. So I think I'm going to give it a B tier. Next up, Rayquaza V Max. This card is a really cool scene image again. There's certain Pokemon cards that are just clearly like supposed to be a scene, and it could be taken out of a bloody anime for all I know. It looks amazing. Rayquaza V Max is really demonstrating the size of this V Max card. I feel like it's really towering over all the mountains and stuff. I do have like a little bit of a similar issue where it's kind of green blending into green again, but at least there's a bit of a pinker outline to it this time. It's a nice looking card. It's probably a lot of people's like a dream pull from this, or a chase card from this as well. But it's not my absolute favourite of all the cards I've seen. I think, honestly, this could be a C tier. Sylveon V is next. A lot of the Eeveelutions are getting like good thumbs up from me because of how great they look. Sylveon V is getting a thumbs up from me because a clear demonstration of love of muffins is on show here, or cupcakes, or whatever the baked goods are. And I can relate. I'm a big fan of cupcakes too. It's not a Pokemon that's blending into the background too much, but there is uses of pink there. But Sylveon's mostly white, so it's kind of like standing out a little bit. Mostly then, that sounded weird. It's a nice looking card. I quite like it. I think I'm going to throw it into A tier. Now for Sylveon V Max. Giant Sylveon V Max just looks proud to have an audience. Again, there's a lot going on here, and it's a little bit of another one where it's kind of like the colours are kind of blending in a little bit too much into the Pokemon for me to like really highlight who the Pokemon is. But there's no mistaking who it is. They're right in the middle there. You can really see what's going on. There's EVs all over the place. Oh my god, is that Flababy? Sorry, bad joke. Marshadow, Vaporeon. It's a good looking card. I really like it. Again, A tier. And finally, the Umbreons. First up, Umbreon V. Speaking of holding audiences, Umbreon V is incredibly cool for that reason. On top of a wall with a Pinsir and a Grimmsnarl and whoever that is in the foreground, maybe another Pinsir. all paying attention to what Umbreon's got to say, while Umbreon looks evil as hell, but also cool as hell. Big fan of this card. This is A tier. And finally, Umbreon V Max. I'm going to say something that is going to be an unpopular opinion. I actually prefer Umbreon V to Umbreon V Max. I like the card, it's a really nice card, and don't get me wrong, I think it's definitely going to A tier. It's could have so easily done the thing that I don't like, where it's like, you know, a black Pokemon on a dark background, but they made the background look really, really cool. I really like it. It's a really good scene. I love that it's reaching for the moon. I don't know what it would do if it caught the moon. Realistically, it's dangerous that we're letting this Umbreon even try, because if it could reach the moon, it would really mess with the tides. But it's a really cool aesthetic, and I said it's going to go in A tier. I think this is an S tier card, but for me personally, I actually prefer the Umbreon V. But, you know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should say this is my favourite, because clearly I'm ranking it higher. It is a nice looking card, but I prefer V. Anyway, Umbreon V Max, S tier. So there we have it. A second D tier Pokemon card, unfortunately, but yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with where the rest of those have ended up. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed this Alt-Art tier list video. More are coming, so don't worry. There's at least 2 more to come, and then hopefully a new set will be out after that, and we can start looking at those ones. Get them out timely, like. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments. Throw me a sub, throw me a like, all that good stuff. All my social media links are in the description below. And if you enjoyed this, hey, let me know for one soon, and I'll see you in that one. See ya!